7 Honda. It's a TSX. Got the nice 2.4 in there from Acura Honda. So what's going on, I just simply need a compressor. And I just want to show you what I found out as far as the numerical values on the pressure gauge and why I'm replacing this compressor. Here are my values here, and this is after the car was running and everything's slowly bleeding off and equalizing. The Freon is low, and I'll admit that it is low. However, the difference is what's happening, the pressures on the low side are not declining. They're increasing, and they're both equalized on the low and high pressure side, which would indicate that there's something internally failed with the compressor. So I don't think there's any obstruction, simply because the high pressure or the high side isn't producing high pressure. The low side isn't suctioning like it's supposed to. So obviously there's a check valve issue, or there's some discrepancies like the scroll valve. I remember with those old ones that would cause the issues with the older compressors not to have equal pressures, if I recall properly. So simply put, there's something internally wrong with this pump, and it has low blood pressure. It has low blood pressure simply because the pump is bad, and we need to put a compressor in there. So let me show you what the pressures are while it's running, because like I said, this is just it balancing out, and we'll go from there. Now, really quick, I do have the fans out. There's no condenser fan or main fan, so you're not going to hear the fans operate. This is just a quick engagement and quick shutdown. The pressures on a normal compressor should reduce on the low side and should increase on the high side. We don't have that. Here's our value. That low side is just dancing around 50. Low side is around, I want to say 75 or so. Will look like 80. So despite it having low Freon, the normal compressor, this low side will continuously drop. This high side will continuously increase, and you will get some cycling. You don't have that. It's just staying on, and there's no cycling at all. And I know I like to repeat myself, because I need to shut up and just start pulling some stuff off. But again, any obstructions with this system would indicate that there's going to be sufficient pressure. This compressor, again, is totally incapable of supplying pressure. And it should be around 250 PSI on the high side. It is nowhere near that. It is totally incapable. So, yeah, it's the compressor shot. Let's put a compressor in it. This whole belt off. I'm changing the whole thing, putting a new one on there. Here we are, got our new compressor here. It's import direct. I got it from O'Reilly's. This is where I normally get all my parts from, every single thing. So I never had any issues out of these. It does come recharged with oil, from what that pink sticker on here says. So it does state that you recommends that you put the appropriate oil in there. But I'm gonna be honest, I never had any issues using with the oil that it came with in there. So, but we're gonna work on getting that back in. The compressor connector is identical, so you want to make sure of that. Also, when I put the fasteners, when I put this compressor back, I want to make sure the fasteners are sitting in there. I don't know if you saw that I left those in there because I couldn't remove them while I was on the bottom. This thing is heavy. So the labor time on this is 2.7 hours, I want to say. Didn't take me no more than 30 minutes to pull it out, but I'm pretty sure by the book, once you recharge it and check everything, it's going to wind up equating about 2 hours. So I'm going to get this back, put this back in reverse order, get my brand new belt on there, and then we'll check the pressures after everything's done to compare the old and the new. So I got everything hooked back up. The compressor's working like it's supposed to. You can hear it attempting to cycle. That's the indication that the freon's low. The fans are trying to work and they're on and off. So what I'm gonna do once I get everything knocked out, we're gonna look at the live data. Hopefully this should be accessible. This car should have a evaporator temperature sensor. So I'm gonna show you the temperature in there. I'm not gonna worry about the mechanical when we can just simply use the electronic. So hopefully we should be around, it's cold tonight, so it should be around 40 degrees. Hopefully we can get it that low. And so we're going to look at the temperature sensor and the live data. Then we'll look at the mechanical gauge, and I'm going to show you the pressure differences. How, like right now, I can tell you it's working, that the suction side is reducing and the high pressure side is increasing. So let me get that straightened out and we'll look at some information. All right, I got everything knocked out. The AC compressor is cycling like it's supposed to, perfectly fine. So I tried pulling some PID data off of the scan tool. Unfortunately, I can't access any type of HVAC numerical value PIDs. The only thing I can pretty much get is a, let me show you, is the thermal switch here. And it's in the body control module. I looked in the, what was it? I looked in the PCM for some AC PID data, but I couldn't get that. It was nothing available but the AC cycling. So anyway, so I assume that the AC cycles based off of the binary switch. I'm pretty sure it's just the low and the high switch. When it hits a certain threshold, it just shuts down. When it goes below a certain threshold, it creates a contact, I guess. Just my thought. Not really putting a lot of thought into it right now. But here's our pressures now. Let's see here. If we can go to focus. So once it goes below 20, it'll shut down. Mind you, the temperature currently inside the garage here is 60 degrees, so it's pretty cool out here today. So you're not going to expect to see any type of over-exaggerated temperatures on the high side. So everything's working like it's supposed to in comparison before. Our low side was high, around 60, and our high side was around like 75 PSI, which was definitely indicating the problem with the compressor. So I have the new compressor on here, and I didn't replace anything else. So I just put the compressor on here, put a new belt on there, and everything's working perfectly fine. So my diagnosis was spot on, and let's check this card out. I want to show you the inside temperature with the mechanical gauge before it warms up. Let's see if it'll. Well, I want to show you the temperature on the mechanical gauge before it warms up, and this is the value we got. I mean, it was around like 40 degrees, but it just that fast, me trying to get the camera to focus, it wouldn't show the temperature. But it's very cold inside. Again, the temperature out here is 60 degrees, so the compressor high side is not going to make a significant amount of pressure because of the ambient temperature. That I do need to put that power steering reservoir back. I don't think there's really too much anything else what needs to happen with this. The tools I used was a 10mm, 14, and a 12. And you saw I had like a ratchet wrench and some other things just to be able to access what I need to. This was not that bad of a replacement. Really isn't. I've done a lot worse. And this should apply to all the other cores that have the 2.4 in there too. So, but I'm gonna call it a day because it's pretty late. I don't think I like missed anything. It was pretty much cut and dry as far as the replacement of this AC compressor. The pressures was low. The suction was high, sorry, but the high side was significantly low. So there was something internally wrong with that compressor. It's fixed now. Maybe one day we'll probably disassemble it. I don't know yet, but we'll see what's up in the air. But other than that, hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, have that reassurance on my work. See you next one.